Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy!
Hey, welcome back to the Ages of Rock podcast. It's Bill, Dennis, and Alan. We actually made it this week. Took a little hiatus last week. It's Abel, Alan.
You know, between Christmas.
For those of you that can't see, Alan's trying to show us where his patch is with his name on it.
Yeah, he does that so he knows what.
He puts his name on his clothes.
That's why I've got my name tattooed on my arm.
Yeah, it's on the inside of his shirt, too, in case him and Laura decide to switch clothes. He knows which ones are his.
I know, like I said, in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's a busy time for one person, and then you got three people to try to get together. It's been tough. We've all been busy.
Well,
and then the normal day to day, I didn't expect that to happen. Things come up, you know.
Sure.
Yep.
Such is life. We missed you guys last week. Thanks for coming back this week.
Yeah, and if you're back, great.
And if you didn't come back, fuck you.
Yeah, well, suck it. Anyway, so tonight we're going to do a kind of a three thing review. I don't know what you're going to call it. A triple threat. Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, because this episode is 333.
You know, which is ironic.
Totally coincidence.
Unplanned. And it is half of 666. The number of the beast. So we should.
You know what 668 is?
2 more of the number of the beast.
The neighbor of the beast.
No. Okay. Man.
Oh,
the hits keep on coming.
I just heard Mike Gayhafer just sigh really loud. It's like, fuck you, Alan. I just heard it. Wow. I know it.
Nothing like having friends you can pick on.
That's right.
All right. So we're going to do 3 things tonight. We're going to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the actual live help me out. The
live
performances. I get live performances that they did. Talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about Bill Maher had Gene Simmons on his show. We're going to talk a little about that, we hope. And we're going to talk also about the new Ronnie James Dio documentary. Right. But to start off, does anybody have any news? I have one thing I'd like to share to start off with, which one of our buddies, Brian Durbin, who is the lead singer for Hairbangers Ball, that we have seen numerous times. His father passed away recently. Just want to shout out to you, buddy. We're thinking about you, and God bless you, and good luck, man.
Yep. Sorry for your loss, Brian.
Yep. We need to have him on again soon. We haven't talked to him for a while.
Yeah, we will do that.
Yep.
So that was kind of some news. And then there's all kinds of stuff going on in Nashville tonight. We're recording on Tuesday. There's a Rare Hair show.
Oh, is that tonight? Shit.
Yeah, and we're all sitting at home in Indiana.
I can't midweek unless I'm
off. It's just hard.
Do that. It's hard.
It's probably a good thing I don't live in Nashville though, because
Curtis was coming up from
totally.
Curtis was coming up from Atlanta too to play with him tonight too.
Oh, that's right.
Who was coming up?
Curtis Clark, who has also been on our show.
Who's also been on our show. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah,
I follow him, but haven't seen him.
Yeah, I seen where he was going to be down there.
So that's a little bit of the news I know. Other than that, I don't know much.
Yeah, there's nothing. I haven't bought any of their albums. Oh, I did go see. Did I talk about that last? No, we didn't talk about that last week because I wasn't on.
Because we weren't here last week, dummy.
I did real quick. I saw Daryl Hall and No Oates and Todd Rundgren 2 weeks ago.
Daryl Hall and No Oates. That's
funny. Just a real quick thing. Todd Rundgren was fucking horrible.
When you say he was horrible, you mean vocally or just the whole show was off?
The sound was really, really, really bad. And his voice wasn't really good. He was a little off, but I think it may be the fact that he couldn't hear himself. So I'll give him that credit because he did come out later on and sang with Daryl Hall, and it was a little bit better. So I think it was just he just couldn't hear himself. Midway through his 1 hour performance, my friends we took a couple with us, and one of our friends, she noted to us that he's not wearing any underwear. And he's 70 something years old, and he had these pants on, and his, when Johnny Knoxville does that grandpa thing where his balls hang down about to his kneecaps, well, that's kind of the way he is. There's video of it on YouTube. I'll send you a clip.
That's okay.
You can't.
No.
And once that seal is broken, you can't do anything but go. It's like, God damn, put that thing away. I'm instead of throwing panties up on stage, I'm gonna throw a 3-pack of fucking Fruit Loom up at him. One of these on. But anyway, Daryl Hall was really, really good. He had the house band with him from Daryl's house, of course. A little light on the Hall and Oates songs.
Yeah, I had heard that he wasn't doing many of those on this tour.
No, but the ones he did, they were good. He did a lot of his own stuff. He did one he was just him playing piano, and the acoustic guitar player did "Here Comes the Rain Again" by Eurythmics. It's really, really good. I mean, it was kind of give you a goosebumps kind of thing.
I'd heard about that as well.
But it was funny because our friends that was with us, she wanted to hear "Man-Eater," and I'm like, going, he's not going to play "Man-Eater," and it wasn't 2 songs in. This old dude's across the aisle from us goes, "Play Man-Eater." I go, there you go. Somebody's hollering for it. And but he didn't deviate from the list. So anyway. But anyway, it was a decent show. We had a good time. All right. I'm done. That's one thing I'm done.
I had something I was gonna say and I forgot.
Did you see Oates by chance? No.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I don't know if he's permanently off the tour now, but Rex Brown and the Pantera reunion hasn't been playing the last few shows.
I saw that.
Somebody said that they thought he had COVID and that he was going to come back later, but I'm not a Pantera fan. I would go see that maybe once just because it kind of intrigues me, but I'm not enough of a Pantera fan to look it up and see if he's coming back or not.
I've watched a couple clips on YouTube. I'm not. Zach's playing it, but I just don't. Like I said, I actually saw him live once years ago, and I was not impressed. We actually left, so I'm not a big fan. Never been I never got Pantera. So anyway,
okay,
that's what.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, and that's enough about that.
Let's get on topic number 1.
All right, topic number 1. I think we're going to start off with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And the performances that were done there. So that took place on at the Microsoft Theater in New York or Los Angeles, I believe. Los Angeles, sorry, had the wrong city. On Saturday, November 5th. I did not watch it live. I watched it later on HBO. And I only watched it for the ceremonies because I could give a rat's ass who got inducted because of half of it is, we'll talk about that. So
right.
Anyway, so first up on the bill was Duran Duran. They were inducted by Robert Downey Jr. They did Girls on Film, Hungry Like a Wolf, and Ordinary World. There were most of the original band members there, but Andy Taylor was not there because he is battling stage 4 prostate cancer. Yes. And was not able to make the gig. But I thought they sounded really good, to be honest with you. I thought I was very surprised how good Simon Le Bon still sounds. He's really hasn't lost much, that's for sure.
That was actually my favorite performance of the night, to be honest. I'm like you. I want to go see Duran Duran now. Because if they can sound like that, it was really, really good.
I don't think I said that, but I thought it was good.
For me, it was the best of the night. I actually watched it today. I watched it. Actually, YouTube has the whole performance released by HBO, so it's the real good quality. And I was very impressed. Sound was really good.
Well, I thought they did really good.
My only beef with their performance is they should have dropped Ordinary World because I never did like that song. And they should have played Union of the Snake because that's my favorite Duran Duran song.
Man-Eater.
We're so selfish. Exactly. There you go. We're so selfish.
But I did like the way they used the orchestration. They had some people up there playing cellos and violins and stuff. And but it was the guitar player. I don't know who that guy is, but he's really good. And his guitar was pretty hot that night. And then
So was it Mick Taylor, Mike Taylor?
I don't know who it is. Alan.
Nick,
I'm
is
not
it
I'm not a
Nick? I don't know.
Nick. No, Nick is isn't he the keyboard player?
Yeah,
I
there you
don't.
go. There you
Yeah,
go.
I don't. Nick. Yeah,
Nick,
and
Mick, Mike, Andy,
Bob.
John. John
I
Taylor's the
don't
bass
know.
player. Is that right?
Right. And
I
John,
should
he's
know
a
that.
hell of a bass
That
player
dude
too.
is a hell of a bass player.
I was really impressed. So
Yeah.
I thought it was a great performance. Well
I'd agree.
deserved.
I was good. The next performance was Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo, and they did All Fired Up, Love Is a Battlefield, and Heartbreaker.
I have not seen the All Fired Up. The YouTube
Oh, you
only
missed a clip?
shows.
You missed
Well,
a clip on the
YouTube
front
only
of it?
has YouTube only has the 2 songs. So,
Okay.
and they don't have I've got to watch. I've got HBO. I just haven't had a chance to watch. I just tried to watch everything I could on YouTube, and that's what I could see. But her performance was spectacular too. I saw her here about a year ago, and she was taking her voice a lot higher than she was at the concert I saw. She was pushing it, but it worked. I thought she sounded really good.
I didn't think she was as good as I saw her this past summer, and
Really?
at the state fair, and I
Mhm.
didn't think she was as good as she was there. I mean, it was good, but I didn't think
Right.
it was as good as she was there.
He's got to lose that ascot.
What?
He's wearing that ascot.
Oh, Nick.
To cover his chicken neck. He just
Well,
Or
lose
Neil.
that.
Sorry,
maybe,
Neil. Sorry.
maybe she gave him a bunch of hickeys and he didn't want
Maybe.
to show.
Patricia. Patricia gave him a lot of hickeys. You ever notice that? He always calls her Patricia.
Yeah. I approve of all 3 songs that they performed.
Oh yeah. Great.
Yeah. Agreed.
No man eater. All right.
The next one was Judas Priest. Is inducted by Alice Cooper, which is pretty cool, which was You Got Another Thing Coming, Breaking the Law, and Living After Midnight.
Yes.
I approve of all 3 of those songs.
Great set list. I think Rob Halford still sounds pretty good.
He still sounds really good. I was glad to see KK out there. He looked like he was having a ball.
Yep.
Felt so sorry for Glenn. Glenn never moved 1 inch the whole performance. I mean,
But he was there.
He was there. And I think, Richie was probably filling in some of his parts.
Now, does Glenn has arthritis? Is that correct?
He has I don't know. I don't think it's MS, but he's got some kind of degenerative muscular situation going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he, when he's come out on tour, he's played like 1 song and he plays the easy song, like an easy song where he can just come out and strum to it. But, he's just coming out to show. But yeah, he looked, he never moved the whole time, but I was glad to see him there. Thank God for that.
Yep. Agreed.
But great songs, 3 good songs to do it with. I thought that was interesting.
For sure.
Yep.
And then Carly Simon. So I think Sarah, I believe Sarah Bareilles inducted her, but she also did a couple of songs. So she did Nobody Does It Better. And then somebody else did You're So Vain. So Olivia Rodrigo did You're So Vain. So both good songs.
I hadn't seen it, but she didn't show up, did she? She wasn't there, right? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, she didn't. She didn't attend.
She's so vain.
I don't think that's why she didn't attend.
Bet you think this award is about you. You're so vain. Sorry.
Dennis, I approve.
Right. It's kind of funny because we try to give some respect to some of the older artists, but
and
not
they don't
that
even show up. No, I love Carly Simon. She is fantastic.
Yeah,
a lot of great hits.
Next one was Lionel Richie, and that was Hello, Easy, who was joined by, let's see, some guitar player that Dennis likes. I don't know, whatever.
That's the only
Dave Grohl, and All Night Long.
I only saw the Easy. That's the only one that's on YouTube.
Really?
So, yeah. I thought his voice was a little weak. I don't know how it was in the other 2 songs. Lionel's getting up there. You got to give him some cred because he's how old is
I don't think Lionel's any older than any older than Rob Halford or
okay. I just see him. Did you think his voice was a little weak?
I didn't think it was very good.
I thought it was very weak.
Yeah.
And Dave, I don't know what the purpose of having Dave Grohl come in and playing that little lead was. I mean, I love Dave, but still.
Well, they all kind of have a fun thing where they kind of
Right.
do some of that kind of stuff. So I didn't have too much trouble with it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen the other two songs. Like I said, I'm going to watch it on HBO at some point here, probably over the weekend, and watch every one of the performances.
Yeah.
In
Then next was the Eurythmics, which they did Would I Lie to You, Missionary Man, and Sweet Dreams.
I love her, but I didn't think I thought she was a little not quite on.
Yeah, it was kind of odd. I would agree. I thought it was kind of odd. It was just kind of.
To be fair, though, these people are, like you said about Lionel, these people are in their 70s.
No, but I just thought I saw her recently.
I just thought
though,
she was off.
Right, I saw her recently sitting at a piano playing, and she was spectacular. I mean, she sounded this within the last year or two, and she just, I don't know, it seemed a little thin. Her voice was a little thin. I don't know, maybe just the setup or the sound. I don't know.
Could have been,
but it was. I was expecting more. Take that. I thought it was good, but I expected more from her.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
wasn't great.
Right.
You got anything else to add, Mr.?
Nope.
Mr. Allen?
Do you approve? Right. Do you approve, Alan?
I said I mostly approve.
Okay,
yeah, mostly.
Okay.
I like Missionary Man, but I would have picked a different one.
Right.
What would you pick?
I don't know another one.
You said they did Here Comes the Rain Again.
Right.
Nope.
Would I Lie to You? What was the ones that you said they did?
Would I Lie to You, Missionary Man, and Sweet Dreams?
I would have put Here Comes the Rain Again in there.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree.
Of course, I'm also the top 40 pop hits kind of guy. So
that's what I've seen her do recently.
Here Comes the Rain Again definitely charted way better than Missionary Man did.
Yeah.
I'm not favorite.
For sure. All right. The next one is Eminem. He sings, his songs were My Name Is. Nobody gives a shit. Rap God and Sing for the Moment when he was joined by Steven Tyler. And then Stan, he was joined by Ed Sheeran. Forever and Not Afraid. So I'm assuming he did a little rap from each one of those or something. And I hit the fast forward button.
Guess what? I cannot form any kind of opinion because I didn't see it either. But the fact that I didn't see it and Ed Sheeran was on there too, I'm glad I didn't see it.
You got a double.
that was a
double bonus there, didn't you?
That was a double bonus.
when I saw he was going to be on there, I'm like, Dennis will be so happy.
Look, Slim Shady and a leprechaun.
Slim Shady and he needs to be in the shade. Otherwise, he's going to get burned.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you have an umbrella?
Now, I have to say, the song "Stan." Have you ever actually listened to that song?
Yeah, it's not a bad song.
That is a really good. It's a really well written song. You know.
All right, I will watch it.
If you're going to give Eminem any benefit of the doubt, listen to that song. It's a good story. You know, but for the other songs, he did the one that you kept repeating over and over again. My name is.
Yeah,
I would have swapped that one out for Without Me, and I would have put Slim Shady in there.
I like peanut M&Ms.
Actually, 8 Mile is a good movie though.
Never seen it.
It was a good movie.
It was a really good movie. I did.
I'll take your word for it.
No, you should watch it. Really, it's a good movie. It truly is.
All right, and then, just for the record, Dennis, the song "Stan" is a duet with the female artist Dido.
Gotcha.
Not dildo, Dido, Dido.
I thought you said she died. She died.
I want you Googling dildo and getting a bunch of dick pics.
it's like I don't think this.
Maybe I do. That'd be funny.
We already signed him up for that. Whenever he got his new email, I went through and signed him up for a whole bunch of stuff.
Don't worry.
Awesome. I'm on. I went out to every mailing list I could find and said, "Send me a newsletter." He's going to get his email and go like, "What the hell?"
It'll happen anyway, probably.
That'll teach you to trust us. There you go.
No
All right. Then Dolly Parton went. She was inducted by Pink. She sang. Well, she didn't sing until the All-Star Jam, which is kind of interesting, or until the end,
No.
until the end of her part. She sang at the end of her part.
Okay.
So she did. Brandy Carlisle and Pink did Coat of Many Colors, and then 95 with Sheryl Crow and Zach Brown's band. And then she came out and said, if I'm going to be inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I need to do me a rock and roll song, and proceeded to do a pretty damn good rock and roll song, to be honest.
I actually watched that, and it was good.
Yeah, she did a good job. And she played.
She was squeezed into that leather outfit, I'll tell you that much.
She's got the waist of an O-ring.
Why didn't she sing I Will Always Love You?
Because
she wrote that song.
She pretty much gave that song to Whitney after Whitney recorded it.
I know, but that's her song.
She kind of did the same thing with that, like when Johnny Cash recorded Hurt.
Right.
Trent Reznor was like, that's not my song anymore.
Okay.
That's kind of the same thing Dolly did with that song. So
I would like to hear her sing it though. Yeah. I thought that would have been cool.
Why didn't she sing Jolene? Huh?
They did.
Well, they did. They did Jolene, but they did.
I said, why didn't she sing it?
Oh,
I didn't say they.
Yeah, I don't know whether.
I'm just being a dick now.
Now you're just being an asshole.
Don't you diss Dolly?
It's kind of funny. We talk about don't go there.
Dolly's been around. Dolly's been around longer than I've been alive.
She's royalty, man.
And this goes back to the same thing, like when you've got the Rolling Stones or Kiss or Aerosmith. Right. There's no way you're going to please everybody you're performing for.
No way.
There's always going to be somebody's mad. You didn't do my song.
Right. But it was good to see her, and I'm glad she did perform. Yeah, and I was surprised she was performing because I thought she was like going to go, not going to show up. I'm not accepting the award and all that kind of stuff when she was first announced. But she did. She's good stuff.
I love her. She's a good person.
Then they did an all-star jam, and they did Jolene and High School Confidential and Great Balls of Fire. So it was just a medley with everybody up there, and it's pretty cool. I think they did a good job.
Watching those clips over the last couple of days just reminded me of what we really missed out on, and that's when Kiss was inducted right before they came up to receive their fucking awards. All three of them in their fucking street clothes should have went over there and just had a very small setup like their loft setup and just played a couple of songs with the four of them and then came over and got their awards and been done with it. They could have made it that fucking simple. Not worried about the makeup, not worried about this. They missed a great opportunity to do that. That would have been a very memorable moment. But no.
You can't be surprised. You absolutely
egos talk.
Yeah. Anyway, it just sucks because it could have been one of those moments.
Could have been.
But anyway. But I was what I saw, I was very impressed. I was very happy.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go. So that's all I got to say about that.
Okay. Well, and that's still showing on HBO. And I think you can still see it on there. I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to.
Well, if you've got HBO Max, you can probably stream it on demand.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
You can. Yep.
Okay, so next on the list, we're going to jump right into a documentary that this recently came out, 2022, which is this year. It is on Showtime right now. You can watch it on there. I watched it actually last night, and I sit down. It is 2 hours and 7 minutes long. It's called Dio's Dreamers Never Die. I'm not going to go into all. I want people to watch it. I mean, I liked it. I mean, I really liked it. I thought it was a very well done documentary. Number one, it is slanted. Now, give you that. This is produced by Ronnie Dio, so it's he is golden. They're not going to hear any dirt or anything like that, which is fine. I love the way that they talked more about his earlier career. With Ronnie and the Red Caps, hearing those songs, those crooner songs,
fucking fascinating. Dude, I didn't realize that he had been in.
Oh, you never heard that before? See, I knew that.
Didn't. I hadn't either.
Oh, really? See, I had heard some recordings before years ago.
See, now I have got it's a 2 or 3 CD set of a bunch of Dio stuff. It's basically like a great big old greatest hits package.
Right.
And it's got some of that stuff on there that I just never paid attention to,
Right.
because a friend of mine decided that he didn't want to listen to Ozzy or Black Sabbath or Ronnie James Dio anymore. So he sent me a bunch of stuff,
Right.
and I got it and just kind of chucked it into a box. I'm gonna have to go find that box and dig that stuff out and listen, because that early stuff was really cool.
That is, I mean, he had just an unbelievable voice. I didn't realize he was a trumpet player. Didn't know he was a bass player. I didn't realize he was an actual, could actually play instruments. Um, I just thought the early stuff was really cool. I didn't know about the fatal crash that he was in with the Electric Elves when they had that. I'd never heard about that. That was the person who died. That was basically his best friend.
His cousin, wasn't
it? It was a guy who co-wrote, he co-wrote stuff with, and I mean, it was kind of like his Gene and Paul kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It was, his name was Nick, I believe. But anyway, I just thought it was very well done. Like I said, it is slanted. The thing I thought was funny was the fact of, they talk about, when Elf when the Electric Elves, after the crash, they became Elf at that point. They actually got picked up by one of the big producers, and then they brought two of the guys from Deep Purple who were interested in basically producing them. And
I liked it when Roger Glover was like, we all got in there and sat down and everybody got their drinks and everything, and these little midgets come out on stage.
I thought that was funny. But they did. I mean, and then they talked about then basically going on the road with Deep Purple for at least a couple years. They toured the whole world with Deep Purple, and then of course Blackmore grabbed him and took him for Rainbow, and then of course Rainbow turned sour after a while. And like I said, just watch the documentary. I could go into all the new why it happened and everything else. But of course, then then he was out. He didn't know what to do and everything, and then ends up getting hooked up with Black Sabbath. And then of course that him and Naomi. First it was him and Blackmore, and then it's him and Naomi. Then he's out again. Then starts his own band, and then of course then gets Jimmy Bain. It was him, Jimmy Bain, and was it Apathy or it was Apathy or a piece, which it's Apathy. But anyway, and then of course they're trying to find that young hot guitar player, which come out to be Vivian Campbell. Well, then then what happens? Well, Dio turns into basically
the boss,
Blackmore, and
it's my band, not your band.
It depends on who you talk to. Of course they didn't say this because Wendy Dio was the producer and she's running this show, but I've heard from the grapevine too that it wasn't really Ronnie and him having issues. It was more with him and her and Wendy had issues with him, and that's what and of course he basically said at one point I need more money. I'm he was basically
the one thing,
nothing, and I made you a star, so you should be appreciative.
Well, the one thing that I took away from that particular segment, according to Ronnie, when they were off for 3 or 4 months or whatever, and they come back to start working on the next record, Ronnie's like, "What did you write while you were gone?" "Oh, nothing."
Sure.
Right.
So if you're not going to contribute to that part of the band, well, no,
that's true.
I think I would have to side with Ronnie on that.
Yeah, I did like the. I knew that they had went somewhere. They talked about. I had read somewhere when they wrote all the stuff for the first Holy Diver album that they went someplace, but actually it was Sound City is where they went to and basically lived at Sound City at night, which I thought that was kind of a cool thing. And then
I bet it was fun too.
Oh hell yeah! And the thing was, I thought was interesting was of course they get into that question of what killed the hairman. Of course then it was Nirvana. I thought that was kind of funny the way that how Dio got put into the box with everybody else. It's like, okay, these guys are gone. We're not playing this shit no more.
My favorite quote out of that was when Rudy Sarzo said, the MTV toilet needed to be flushed. That just cracked me up.
That was pretty funny. But anyway,
it is true.
I like watching all the then they showed a lot of his footage from his live stuff, through Holy Diver, through Last in Line. up. And I didn't realize that stage show had got by Sacred Heart. It got that theatrical,
ridiculous.
You know what? At the time, people were, because probably half the people in the audience were stoned or taking acid or something. They were all flipping out over the big dragon. But looking back at it now, it looks really cartoonish. It looks kind of stupid.
But then, I mean, at the time,
it was
high tech.
It was great.
Now going back to Sacred Heart and those album covers, at one point in that show, I think it was at the very beginning when Eddie Trunk talked about, it was either Eddie Trunk or Jack Black. Somebody talked about back then that you didn't get to preview music. You had to judge your music by the cover and stuff.
Sure,
Yep.
sure.
He was talking about how the fantastical look or whatever got my attention, and I just had to hear this. See,
Right.
Now I was just the opposite. I don't like that fantastical stuff. I don't like fantasy. I don't like sci-fi. So anytime I saw an album cover that looked like that, I'm like, I don't even want to listen to that. And now you go back and listen to Sacred Heart is not a very good example, but Holy Diver and The Last in Line, those are phenomenal albums that I missed out on for years.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, what I learned, I thought the cool thing too was how they decided to shoot the cover for Holy Diver.
That was hilarious.
That was pretty cool.
Take the picture, damn it! Take the picture.
We're gonna put a bunch of chains on you, and maybe you'll drown, or maybe not. Who knows? But we're gonna take some pictures.
And the dude's like looking at him, and the guy's like, "Take pictures, damn it! Take pictures."
Make sure you reach for your life.
No, I thought that. I think the funniest because there's a lot of little great stories and little great little side notes to the whole show, but the Jack Black segment talking about when they recorded that thing for the movie, the Pick of Destiny.
He brought his own mic.
When he comes in, he goes, "I got my mic and my cord," and they're like, "Dude, we have this Sennheiser, multi-$1,000. Yeah, and he's blasting into this thing, and he's like, "Dude, turn it down." He goes, "Dude, I did turn it down." He's just blowing the diaphragm in this thing. And this other guy, "Okay, we're gonna get the better microphone." Did the same thing. So then Ronnie's like, "That usually happens. That's why I bring this microphone." But I mean, he does have you can just watch him in the studio when you've seen him singing. It's just like they had a couple of them where he's just singing without it. You can't hear the background music.
Right.
I mean, his voice for a little elfy type guy, he had a huge voice. I mean, his voice was spectacular. But like I said, if you're a Dio fan of any sort, this documentary is well worth the watch. It is. It's 2 hours, and it goes by really quick. It's just, I was
going to say it's right at 2 hours because the last 5 or 6 minutes is just credits.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, even if you're not a Dio fan, I mean, if you're a music fan at all, it's just neat seeing that where he came from and that he had sold a whole lot of records before he ever became popular.
Yeah, that's the thing. He had hit records before he even got, and being a crooner,
till that documentary, I had no idea, but it was really, really good.
A lot of good, and there's a lot of good people in it. Of course, talking about him, there was Sebastian. I love Sebastian Bach. He's just such a dork. Geezer was on there. Of course, Wendy Dio was in there quite a bit. Well, she's had a lot of face work done. You could tell she's been worked on. Lita was in there. Craig Goldie, Rob Halford, Tommy Iommi. Let's see, Rudy Zarzos was in there. Eddie Trunk. He must have been really close to Dio.
Yeah, I think they were. Yeah, Don Dokken and Jeff Pilson was in there too.
John Dokken, Jeff Pilson. Don Dokken has got the highest voice. He's got this weeny little voice. You ever notice? I never really heard him talk very much. He doesn't sound like he should, way he talks or looks. But Pilson's pretty funny. He was on there. Bill Ward. So yeah, there was quite a few people in there talking, and Jack Black. And like I said, it's a glory fest and a praise fest. But that's what you're going to get for that kind of documentary.
That's what I expected.
But it's good. It's worth it. I mean, it's worth the praise because he was. I don't know how accurate the thing was talking about when he would meet people on the road. He could remember things about the person that he met maybe a year prior or something like that. That might have happened, might not happen. Who knows? But they talk like it was like a regular event.
Who knows?
Like, oh, your dad was sick the last time I saw you. How's he doing? That kind of thing. You know, it's like, I don't know.
Really, that is pretty impressive.
If that really were, did that, then that is very impressive.
Yeah.
So,
It seems to me Eric Carr had that ability to remember from town to town,
cool.
stuff like
Right.
that too. And I mean, it is impressive when somebody just absorbs that much knowledge and remembers that much stuff.
Exactly.
So these other guys are like, I don't even remember what happened yesterday.
Yeah. But the one thing I didn't quite get was, that he, had the cancer. He went through. He was kind of, I don't know if it was in a remission, but he was doing better. He went and he got that award for, I don't know, some kind of a medal god.
The medal award. It was a rock and roll. Yeah.
And then it's like, it's just right
Golden
after
God
that,
award.
she talked about he was back in the hospital and then, jumped up at morning and, at 7:30 and just died. So I don't know how long would, it didn't really give a time of, because it said he died within 6 months of his diagnosis, is what I was reading here earlier. So I don't know why, it went from, I don't know. They didn't really go into detail. I guess it's just, they're just not going to go into it.
Well, it could have not have been sick and they found something and it just was very progressive. I mean, that's very possible.
It could have been something from, he did a bunch of experimental treatments and stuff like that, chemos. So it could have been something else that, he died, actually caused him, maybe something else, sparked something else. Anyway, I really liked it. Great documentary.
Yep, I agree.
Yep. Cool.
Good stuff. Worth $2.
Oh, you have to pay $2 for it?
Yeah, because I don't have Showtime. Now I have Showtime for $2.
Oh, I have. See, we already had it through Prime Video, or through Prime.
Well, you're still paying for it.
Amazon,
but whatever.
Yes, but it's amortized over all the other shit you spend your Amazon.
That's true.
Mine's still an Amazon account, but I had to pay it's $2 bucks a month.
Okay. All right.
Well, it'll end in about 45 days.
She's got a bunch of stuff she watches on Showtime. Where's that Randy Rhoads documentary on? Is it on Showtime also?
The Randy Rhoads documentary, I think, is on Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon.
Okay, because I do want to watch that too. Because
Laura and I watched that.
He said he was really good.
A month or so ago, maybe.
Yep.
Right.
We watched it.
I watched it too. It was good.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. You want to go for the triple thing there, Alan?
Yeah. In my infinite wisdom, I didn't write down the name of Bill Maher's podcast. It's the something room.
The shit room.
Pretty much. The Bill Maher gets drunk and talks to Gene Simmons room.
Are you gonna go into any more depth with or are we just gonna talk about it?
Well, I've just kind of got some notes because I watched it a couple of weeks ago, and I'd planned on going through and refreshing myself on it today before the show, and I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah.
But some of the things that they discussed, Gene,
politics.
Well, we'll get to the politics part, but Gene talks about, people being transgender and men being able to get pregnant and things like that. Let's see. Bill Maher talks about basically he got shot down by some girl at a very young age, and that's why he spends most of his time doing his TV show or his radio show or whatever. He focuses on work rather than on relationships.
Why he was hanging out at the Playboy Club like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I don't know. It says Bill opened up a bit about his personal life when he talked about being dumped by his first girlfriend and alluded to this being the cause of his reluctance to be involved in any serious relationships. So
he's still not. I don't think he still has.
I don't think he's ever been married, has he?
No,
I don't know.
That's what I said. I think he still drives by the Playboy Mansion. I don't think it exists anymore, but I think he still drives by there. But he did meet Gene there. I think that's where they said that's where they met.
They said they've been friends for like 30-some years.
Yeah, a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff that they talked about, they kind of argued back and forth about their old friendship or whatever. When they got into the politics, some, I'm going to agree with Gene, which I am neither right nor left, because I think they're all a bunch of hypocrites and they're in it for themselves or whatever. But Gene made a very good point. When you sit here and you call somebody a Trump tard, or you sit here and you call somebody a libtard, you're alienating half of your audience.
Right.
And so I thought Gene taking the high road and say, I'm not gonna say anything negative or positive one way or the other.
Right.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, I thought it was very respectful. I don't think it was it didn't seem to be a lot of pre-rehearsed stuff. I mean, it didn't come off that way anyway.
No, I didn't think it was more of a conversation.
It was very much more conversational, and Gene pushed back and was like, well, I disagree, whatever. I mean, it just seemed like that was okay. Oh, that was kind of cool, actually. I like those kind of interviews or discussions that are just more discussions.
Bill Maher is not an interviewer at all. He's
no. I mean, he talked about that. The old show was politically incorrect because I'm on whatever side I want to be on. But
didn't Gene keep calling that politically correct when he was talking about it?
He did.
He was incorrect.
He kept correcting him. Which is very ironic.
Yeah. Now, one thing I will give Bill Maher credit on is, as I understood it, when Trump first ran for president and was elected, Bill Maher was all for it. And Gene was in the same boat. They were all for it. And then when Trump started kind of acting childish and, they were both like, nah, I'm out. I thought that was kind of cool, because some people are just like, I'm dying on this hill. That's my boy, and it's,
yeah, there's a,
I just, that alone. I watched the show and it took me, it took me 2 different times first time I watched it about halfway through, I kind of was out in the garage and I got busy doing something else. I just completely tuned it out. I was like, so now
that right there tells you everything you need to know about that interview.
I was like, I have to sit down and I really got to listen to this. So I made myself sit down and listen to it. And the thing is here, I just don't like Bill Maher. I didn't like him on Politically Incorrect.
Well,
I just think he comes across as he's just a real douche. I mean, I don't care what his political affiliation is or what he is. He just comes over as an arrogant douche. And I'm sorry, that's just
to a point. Several of those political commentators,
I mean, they are.
Come off like that. I mean, at least to me,
they're very basically, even when Gene was saying stuff about certain things, and he just basically would keep contradicting, saying no, he's an asshole. Just being, Gene's trying to stay neutral, and Bill just keeps plugging at him. It's like, dude, just give it up, And the thing about Gene is Gene. I didn't hear anything in that fucking interview that I ain't heard 50 fucking times. I really didn't hear anything new. I mean, it's just, you're never going to get anything out of Gene that's like, oh my God, really, or something groundbreaking, because Gene talks about himself all the time, but it's always the same thing. It's always kind of the same. I talks about his mom, talks about his dad, talks about how bad he treated whatchamacallit. He talks like a guy who's been in therapy and now he's like really feeling bad about shit. You know what I'm saying? Is it as he's getting older, he doesn't have that.
Those twilight years start fucking with you.
They do. I mean, and he's really starting to kind of, like, maybe I need to make up for my bad shit through the years.
I did keep cracking up, and I'm bouncing around all over here, but I did crack up every time Bill would take a hit off a cigar or take a drink or whatever, and Gene would get on him for it.
I was thinking that the whole time, because he played with that lighter and that cigar for at least 20 minutes before he even lit it up. I'm like, he's just sitting there. Gene's like, don't you do it? Don't you do it?
I really thought Bill Maher was probably about half drunk.
There was no half to it.
You think he was half? I think he was slurring. And actually, because I was curious about that, so I watched. There was another one on there with Dana Carvey.
Yeah,
and I watched about 20 minutes.
I haven't seen that yet. I just saw that there is one.
And he's about the same in that. He's lit up. I mean, I think that's just kind of his stick, That kind of, Joe Rogan wants to, he'll sit around and smoke some weed before his, and then I think Bill just sits there and drinks some fucking whiskey.
Yeah, I see there's one here too with Kid Rock. That'll be interesting.
I bet that's pretty good, actually.
I'll never know.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Bill Maher, and like I said, but I did watch it, and I liked it. I just wish there'd been something there that I hadn't heard before.
One thing that I did kind of notice, it felt to me like Bill met his match or knew he wasn't gonna push the envelope or poke the bear and get anything at him, so he kind of just abruptly ended the interview.
I saw that too. That was kind of odd.
That's how it felt to me.
I think it was just a time thing.
He's just
he has no time.
He didn't know what he was doing.
If you would notice, like the interview with Dana Carvey was like an hour and a half. There's a couple of
I guess they are kind of all
there that are like 2 hours. I think it depends on.
Told him.
I think it depends on how the discussion's going. If you're starting to make me look bad, we're done.
Well, that's maybe Gene told him at the very beginning. It's like, dude, I'm going to give you this. That's about it. But like you said.
I got to go sign some tequila bottles or vodka bottles.
Even though I don't drink this, I have to sign them.
See, now that is the one thing that kills me most about that is like,
and the CBD oil and this shit. It's like, Gene, everything you fucking talked about all your life about and stressed on how this and that, you're a hypocrite. It's all about this.
We're all hypocrites in one way or the other.
Yep,
I know. He goes, I'll sign this bottle, but don't you drink it. Just put it on your shelf. Just give me some more money. Buy one for your grandma.
I'll sign this bottle and one of your items, and that's all. And then,
unless it's your hot girlfriend's titties, and I'll sign both of those.
As long as Shannon's not around.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the low point of the three things I had to watch.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I kind of liked it though. I thought it was entertaining.
It was okay, but
yeah,
it wasn't terrible. It was hard to get through.
I've watched a lot worse.
Oh yeah, I watched our show. Bill's just not getting it.
I didn't hear you. All I heard was I didn't hear that. I didn't hear the first part.
We need to get some captions on our screen now.
Yeah, we do.
Nope, that's work. Ain't done it.
Yeah. I'll be typing a bunch of stupid shit. Alan just said something really stupid.
Alan said anything, it was probably stupid. And on that note, people, visit agesofrock.com, check out our past episodes and social media links. And until next time, peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.